What is Mummy doing? Is she getting ready to film? Is she getting ready to film? Yes, she is. Hello guys, welcome back. Well, I say welcome back. Welcome back to you guys. It's a big welcome back from me. And also it's probably going to be a quick welcome for my little princess Mia. A little more dressed up than I normally would be for a video, but it's because we are heading to church right after this. But I wanted to film my return to YouTube, film a quick Q&A for you guys, as I popped a question box on my Instagram and on here on the community tab on my channel with a request for all your questions about my birth story, motherhood, last bits of pregnancy and all of that stuff. So we're just going to try and power through it in the next 30 minutes or so, hopefully quicker, and then I will head off to church and maybe do a quick faceless intro of my little girl. If you haven't already, please subscribe for more videos. I have a vlog coming. Oh, she's tired. Are you sleepy? Yeah? You sleepy? She's a bit sleepy. Okay, I have limited time to get through this, so let me grab my phone and get the questions. Yes! Right, so I'll go to Instagram first. Shall I go to Instagram, Mia? Yeah? Okay. Let's take it up. We just bought some new dummies and she's not feeling them at all. You're not feeling them, Mia? You feeling the dummies? No, you're not. Okay, questions. I had a few responses that weren't questions, so congratulations. Don't forget yourself in all this. I think that's a really important topic, and I think it's quite polarizing as well, because I think mums, new mums anyway, from what I've seen, do struggle with identity and you know, just a sense of self after giving birth and having a baby, and you know, being in this all-consuming life that is motherhood. So not forgetting yourself is very hard to do, especially in the first few weeks, and I really struggled with that. Well, I don't know if it was more forgetting myself or if it was just getting a hold of myself and dealing with all of the overwhelming emotions and probably hormonal changes that were happening. So yeah, that's quite an important one. And then I think you probably do also feel a sense of guilt at the fact that, you know, you don't want to forget yourself, because at the same time it's like, okay, but I'm a mum, so part of me has to almost, you kind of almost have to die to yourself a little bit, and get rid of that selflessness. Yes, darling. Yeah. Yes, you have to get rid of that selfishness, don't you? She's very chatty. But yeah, that I can see that there's also a sense of guilt associated with not wanting to forget yourself. So yeah. Oh, it's a catch-22. Are you getting help? Yes, we had lots of help, especially in the first couple of weeks, from the grandmas. So my mum, my partner's mum, and yeah, and then obviously he's been here and he's been like a super hands-on dad, which has been beautiful to see. So yes, I am getting help. Are you getting any sleep? Now I am. Baby girl is, how old are you? You're going to be 10 weeks next week, Wednesday. So she's starting to do 3.5, 4 hour stretches of sleep at night, which is amazing. But in the early days, we weren't getting much sleep, but we were kind of tag teaming, so a little bit. Oh, the mamas ask. Birth story. Okay, so birth story. She was born by CAESAREAN. It was a planned CAESAREAN. However, I went into labour at no. Okay, baby. Do you want to have the dummy then? Have the dummy. She's not very good at keeping the dummy in her mouth, but it could be the shape. It could be that she has a little tongue tie. But anyway, we'll get into that. Birth story, yes. So I went into labour the morning of. Now, I wasn't sure as a new mum what labour pains actually were. So I woke up at like 5 o'clock in the morning feeling like these period cramps, and I was like, okay, weird. Went back to sleep, woke up again at 5:30, and yeah, the cramps were still around. They were kind of like intensifying. I went to the toilet, wiped, and then I saw a little bit of blood, and from what I knew at that time, that was the bloody show, which you get, which is essentially, you know, the beginnings of labour. So I called the midwife hotline. I think it's just called Call the Midwife. Why are you spitting this out? I called the midwife hotline. They were like, yes, you are in labour. What did I do then? I told my partner, because basically we had this like really lovely plan of, because as it was a planned cesarean, I was hoping that, you know, they had said basically come in for 11, which meant I had to stop eating by 7. So at like 6, we were going to have a full English breakfast. His like mum and brother were over, and you know, we were just going to be enjoying and like really taking in the last few moments. But then they were like, yeah, no, come straight in. So I went in. It took a little while to get seen to. It's the NHS. And then, and by it's the NHS, I mean, I know that they're like severely understaffed, and therefore like things are going to take some time. So completely understanding, even though I was in a little bit of pain. But I got in, they checked me over. They said that my cervix had not opened yet. But I was feeling the pains like quite regularly. I'd say they're probably about 10 minutes apart at this point. And yeah, so they were like, do you want to try for a vaginal birth? I was like, no, let's just stick to the plan. And also, if this is like early onset of labour pains, I was like, I don't even want to get to the other end. So continued with the plan of a planned cesarean. And obviously when you go in, if you have a planned cesarean, they normally have you like in a schedule. Sorry, I keep looking down because she is really struggling with this dummy. She's getting the hang of it slowly. They have you in a schedule, so like you have some morning people, you have some afternoon people. So because I'd gone in at 11, I was in the afternoon slot. If you go in at 7, you're in the morning slot. So I later found out that they had me in like at 3 p.m, like in the late slot. So I was probably one of the last ones of the day because it generally wasn't too complicated, a pregnancy, etc. So we're waiting around. The labour pains are intensifying. I'm really breathing through this. I haven't done like any like antenatal classes or like birth preparation classes because I knew I was going to have a cesarean. So yeah, no hypnobirthing. I had no clue. All I had was my knowledge of watching One Born Every Minute constantly. So I was like just breathing and just like waiting for the waves to pass. But like they're like 3-4 minutes apart now, and I'm like, okay, I need to get in ASAP. So we kept like saying, you know, can we go down yet? Like, can they bump me up the queue? They kept saying that obviously the doctor was in surgery, so they couldn't get anyone to come and see to me. We also asked for something to put on me to monitor baby, and they didn't give us that. Now, possibly that was because we were in the cesarean ward, I don't know. But there was no monitoring of baby before, so there is that, which I wasn't too pleased about. Yeah, so eventually they just moved me in. The doctor came up, they were like, yeah, we're gonna take you down as you're in labour. And obviously I don't want to they didn't want me to, well, I didn't want to progress too far into the labour because obviously they had to put an injection in my back to numb me for the cesarean, and if I'm in heavy labour, I'm not going to be keeping still, and if you don't keep still, it can paralyse you. So yeah, so they eventually moved me to the emergency cesarean queue, which was quite annoying because they could have just bumped me up in the queue, I feel. but it is what it is. But it's no different. It's just a different team, different department. So yeah, they put me into the emergency queue, and then so they came up eventually to tell us, okay, get scrubbed up, put your gown on, put your compression socks on, and then they gave my partner Dan his scrubs and his cap, and then yeah, they took us down at I think it was about 1. So they took me down, they get you prepped for surgery. So like they just like get you to like lean over on the bed, on the side of the bed, and then they put the injection in. I think it's anesthesia. Yeah, I'm assuming it's the epidural. I don't know, but whatever it is, they put it in. That was a bit of a sharp prick. So I felt that for sure. But then after that, because I was feeling labour pains right up until the point where they were like, "We're taking you down now," and then I was like, fine. Like, mentally, I think I just blocked out the pain because I was like, yes, it's gonna be good. What did the labour pains feel like? Just like a wave of like a period cramp, but like really intense. And I don't even think I got to the real intense bit, even though they were 4 minutes apart. But yeah, I was very relieved to have like, once I knew the pain relief was coming, I was like, this girl. Yeah, once I knew the pain relief was coming, I was like, I'm good. So then, yeah, they lie you back on the table. They like spray this really cold spray just to check that you're like actually numb, you can feel anything. I couldn't, and then they were like, yeah, so we're gonna get started. And basically from when we start up until when she comes, I knew it was going to be about 5 minutes, they'd said. So they let us put on we had made like a, you know, delivery playlist. So they didn't have a speaker in the room, unfortunately, so we just played it off our phones. And then, yeah, like within 5 minutes, she was out. She let out a big scream, a big cry. And yeah, we were both like in tears. And then her dad got to cut the umbilical cord. Her dad, that's so weird that I'm saying that. He got to cut the umbilical cord, put on her first nappy. And then he got some like time with her. He just held her while they were like stitching me back up, and then they wheeled me out to join them. And yeah, it was beautiful. Like, I would say from the moment that the surgery started, like for me, it was the most beautiful experience, just being there with me and him and the medical team as well, who were great, and they were really friendly. Yeah, you know, they were like talking to us through the surgery. They were like, is it your first? And they were like, what are you having? And I was like, it's a girl. And, you know, they were just kind of telling us, like, giving us the skinny on like parenthood, like, oh, you know, but, you know, it wasn't the real deal, because we felt that when we got home, trust me. So yeah, then we got back to the wards. I tried to eat the famous tea and toast. I had that. Toast sensational, tea sensational, because obviously you're starving up until that point. But then I threw it all up because of the I think the anaesthetic. So yeah, I couldn't keep anything down for a little while. So I was like kind of just running on adrenaline for a good while. But yeah, eventually I was good, was able to eat something. I think that was like dinner when they eventually bought it. And then we were in there, family visited, so my siblings, my parents, his mum and brother, and then yeah, then we were there overnight, and then we were released the next day. They came in, did like a few checks, and they got me up quite quickly to like walk around and stuff. But yeah, they get you out pretty quickly, despite them saying it's a major surgery. So yeah, that's my birth story. This little lady, hey, hello, she's dying to get on here. How did you plan your maternity as a contractor? So I'm not a contractor anymore. I actually had a perm job, and I'm currently on maternity leave. So if I was a contractor, I probably would have just done the same as what I've done, which is basically save a decent chunk of money to get me through the unpaid part of the maternity leave, or the bit where you're only getting statutory. I would have just saved a chunk of money just to get me through that, and that's kind of what I did as well. But I was lucky enough to get some paid company maternity pay. So yeah, so that's my plan. And obviously, I think if you plan your pregnancy, you plan to have a child, I think it makes sense if you're able to just, like, in the months that you're trying, or the months that you're pregnant, to just be putting money away for all of that stuff, because these kids are expensive. How was your labour and delivery? Hope you had a positive experience. Yes, I would say all in all, it was as positive as it could be. Unfortunately, they did cut Mia on her way out a little bit, just above her eye. You can barely see it now, but that was not good. And they do tell you that is a risk. That's 1 in 1,000 or something like that. But unfortunately, she had to be the one. So we weren't super pleased about that, super thrilled, but it's a very shallow cut and barely visible. But that was one thing that wasn't positive. And also the fact that I had to wait around for ages and didn't get any monitoring, despite being in labour, and like feeling labour pains, contractions, whatever they were, and not getting any monitoring on the baby. So yeah, those would be the negatives. Someone said, what is the first, not someone, Claudia, what is the first thing you want to do when baby girl dozes off into sleep? It should be sleep. It really should be sleep, but I'm not a great napper. So, oh, sorry, honey. Okay. I'm not great at napping during the day. So the first thing I want to do is eat and run around and clean the house. What am I enjoying the most? What I'm enjoying the most is watching her like go through like loads of different milestones. So I really love seeing her first smiles, hearing her first like sounds and like cooing and like trying to speak. She's doing a lot of that, and I'm enjoying seeing Dan as a dad, seeing my partner as a dad. He's so good with her. He's so affectionate. He's so playful. He's so hands-on. So I'm really enjoying seeing that. I'm very lucky with that. Tell us some things you wish they told you before you entered motherhood. I think that needs to be a whole separate video, guys. I'll be really honest. The main thing is the emotional side of things. Like, I think it took me a while, especially because I had a cesarean, to feel like I could do all the things I wanted to do to like really bond with her initially. I will say my recovery was really good, a lot better than I expected, but I felt like I struggled to bond with her, or I felt like I was struggling to bond with her. Maybe that wasn't the case, but emotionally, like, I think you always expect this flood of like love and just awe and just this amazing feeling, and I didn't get that right away. I think because it's a surgery and it's quite clinical. Don't get me wrong, it was a magical moment, and I did cry, but like the bonding definitely was a lot more gradual for me. Like, it happened over time, and you know, I obviously love her and adore her, but that definitely grew. Like, it wasn't all there like whoosh bang in the beginning. So you know, everyone's experience is different, so maybe these are things that people can't like tell you about because you might not experience those. The hormones, they did tell me about that, to be fair, but like, because I had like I was relatively stable throughout the pregnancy, I didn't expect my hormones to just go take me through a loop after. So they were definitely up and down. I was very, very emotional, and I felt I felt a lot of guilt, because I felt like I wasn't connecting with her, and it was just hard. I found it hard. Like, I found being a mum harder in those first 4 weeks than I thought I would. So that took me by surprise. What else did they tell me? The physical strain on your body. Like, I have, like, my wrists, my thumb. So these are all the areas that I hold her in or that I sit her up in. My knees, like, my body hurts. So the physical strain of motherhood is something that they don't talk about enough. Maybe it's because I'm a bit older. I'm 36 if you're new here. Maybe it's because I'm a bit older and, you know, my body is not what it used to be, but guys. Okay, so that's all the questions on Instagram. And then on YouTube, how did I decide on her name? So it was a toss-up between Mia and Maya. And I had my siblings and Dan's brother over, and we asked them, and a lot of them were kind of leaning towards Maya. And then when I heard that, it made me want to edge towards Mia. So I had a list, loads of names on the list. Naomi was a front runner for a while. Yeah, we had a few, but Mia, I don't even know how I decided. It just came to me, and it just sounded beautiful, and she's very much suiting that name, I would say. Last question is, how is the sleep pattern? Did you have a birth plan, or did you just go with the flow? My birth plan obviously was just a cesarean section, and yes, that plan kind of went out the window when she decided she wanted to come early on the morning of her planned cesarean. The sleep pattern is okay now. During the day naps is what we need to kind of conquer. She just doesn't really have we're trying to get her into a napping routine. Some days good, some days not so good. Yeah, I would say that her sleep pattern at night though is more consistent. She will sleep for like 3 to 4 hour stretches, which is amazing, and we are so thankful. But yeah, let me get her on. So here she is, little Miss Mia. She is dressed and ready for church. Got her little I Love Daddy outfit on, and yeah, it's my little bundle of joy. So yeah, if you are new here, subscribe and give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If you are a returning subscriber, hello, I am back. There'll be a new vlog next week, and yeah, that should go up on Sunday. And otherwise, thank you for watching and have a great week. So have a great week. Bye guys.